A quiet morning in the Zaporizhia urban area erupted into chaos when Ukrainian aerial spies detected unusual movement among the rows of damaged buildings. A small Russian unit was attempting an infiltration attack using a diversionary-reconnaissance group, DRG. They crept through narrow alleys and rubble, attempting to silently infiltrate the urban area. They moved quickly, signaling to each other to regroup and prepare for a follow-up attack, relying on the shadows of buildings and narrow alleys as cover from enemy eyes. But the skies were no longer safe for them. From above, a Ukrainian FPV drone had already locked onto its target. The drone's camera revealed a chilling and haunting sight. Armed figures hiding among the collapsed walls, preparing their weapons for a surprise attack. The FPV pilot, with his finger firmly on the control stick, lowered his altitude. The image on the monitor shook slightly as the drone zoomed between the ruined rooftops, then locked onto a troop concentration. The sound of electric motors screamed through the air. Then, bang! The first explosion shattered the silence. A wave of fire and concrete debris swept over any enemy who stood too close. At the same time, one by one their hiding spots were being hunted down. A second drone swooped low, hitting directly behind the tactical vehicle they had parked for cover. A loud bang shook the air. Thick black smoke billowed, and flashes of fire reflected off the windows of the abandoned buildings. There was no time to escape. Those who survived the first explosion were trapped by the subsequent attack. The drone's camera motion captured figures trying to drag themselves to safety, but each maneuver was met with a precision, hope-shattering bang. As the smoke began to clear, the area that had previously been a gathering point for Russian troops was now nothing but rubble, blast craters, and abandoned weapons. Their confidently planned infiltration attempt had turned into a complete disaster in a matter of minutes. This victory reaffirmed the tactical superiority of Ukrainian FPV drones, not just as weapons, but as an absolute deterrent to any initial enemy aggression on the Zaporizhia front. On the fragile front line of Torsque, the afternoon sky appeared tranquil, but on the monitors of the pilots of the 63rd BBS Brigade, along with their partner units, the calm was a deadly deception. The first image filled the screen. From low altitude, the hum of an FPV drone's propellers glided among the ruins of houses. The camera shuddered with each sharp second of detail. Narrow streets, collapsed fences, and the bullet-riddled walls of captured houses in the Torsque settlement. The first target appeared, a brick house with its windows covered by torn tarps. But through the gaps, the silhouettes of fast-moving Russian infantry could be seen. The drone descended, swooping through a gap in the roof, the dark shadows becoming clearer on the screen, and the operator took a deep breath, his finger locking on the target. In a split second, the armed figure appeared clearly on the screen, and the last image seen was a group of convulsed faces. There was no time to think. The drone slammed in, the screen filled with white light. Then an orange flash burned through the frame, followed by debris flying into the air. At the same time, a second drone was deployed, its path cutting through a narrow alley filled with smoke and dust from the previous explosion. At the end of the alley, a two-story house with dull walls became the next point of resistance, the FPV camera capturing the barrel of a gun erupting in flames. The operator reacted quickly, swinging the drone toward an open window, the blast hitting directly inside, destroying the shooter's position and collapsing part of the upper floor. Explosion after explosion formed a deadly rhythm. From the air, the houses of Torsque, once bustling with life, were now reduced to smoking rubble. Pieces of wood, brick, and glass flew through the air, scattering like a deadly rain. Each attack was captured in vivid detail, demonstrating the FPV drone's deadly precision in destroying enemy defenses one by one. For the pilots, this was more than just a military operation. Behind every sharp maneuver and deadly collision lies a heavy emotional burden. They know that the homes they destroyed were once places of laughter, sleep, and shelter, and now, to repel the invaders, those places have been reduced to ashes. At the same time, Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate, HUR, reported that on Sunday, August 10, it carried out a long-range drone attack on the Lukoil Uktaneftepera-Rabotka oil refinery in Russia's Komi Republic, more than 2,000 kilometers, 1,243 miles, from the Ukrainian border, damaging fuel tanks and gas processing units. Sources in HUR told Kyiv Post. In social media popular with locals, people reported hearing several powerful explosions in the area of the refinery, followed by the arrival of fire engines, ambulances, and other emergency services. Telegram channels in the region claimed at least one storage tank at the plant was punctured. Power outages and mobile internet disruptions were also reported in the city. According to HUR, the strike hit an oil products reservoir, causing a spill and damaged a gas and gas condensate processing unit used to produce propane, butane, and gasoline. Kyiv stresses that it operates in accordance with international conventions and targets only military objectives, including oil refineries that supply the Russian army. Last Friday, a Kyiv Post source in HUR reported that two powerful explosions rocked the settlement of Infiltrate in Russia's Krasnodar region, hitting a military base of the Russian Air Defense Forces' 90th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade. As a result of the blasts, at least 12 Russian servicemen were killed and dozens wounded. Military equipment located on the base was also destroyed, the HUR source said. Infiltrate is a settlement in Russia's Krasnodar region, located about 500 kilometers (310 miles) from Ukraine, and roughly 1,200 kilometers (745 miles) south of Moscow. HUR sources said that the 90th Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade, which was targeted in the special operation, has been taking part in Russia's armed aggression against Ukraine in the Kherson and Zaparisia fronts.